All right, good morning. We are live. It's Wednesday. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. I really appreciate it. As the crew rolls in here, the coffee crew rolls in. Just want to say good morning. Thanks for tuning in. If you're watching on the replay, thanks for watching. But if you want to join us live, we go live Monday to Friday, 8 o'clock, 8 a.m. Pacific time. Time zones are always screwy to figure it out, but it's 8 a.m. Pacific time. It'd be great to have you join on. Thanks everybody for joining. Good morning. We'll see who's rolling in. It always takes a few seconds. It's Wednesday, hump day, so maybe a bit slower as the people roll in today, but that's okay. Coffee is hot. And a fair bit to talk about today. Obviously, big day. Not yet. That will come. The big news today is the Fed down in the States. We kind of, I think, know what's happening, but the big question is going to be the wording behind it, which we have to wait for, unfortunately. But let's go through our good mornings first, and then we can get into kind of some news and some links that I want to share. Candace always makes it first. Good morning. Cool shades on today. Hopefully it's sunny where you are. Maybe get the shades on. Always good to have you. We will get to your joke of the day, which is amazing. And as we say good morning, so Chad is sleepy. I'm still kind of sleepy today too. I was up really early this morning, Chad, for some reason. My cat woke me up. And then just kind of stayed awake, did some emails and stuff this morning and read the news, that kind of thing, and just didn't fall back to sleep. So I'm sleepy too, but midweek, that's kind of, what is. It's still cold outside, so that's not the greatest either. And that's all, yeah. And coffee crew, Paul, thanks for joining in. Always good to have you here. Thanks for joining. I'm going to take another sip of coffee because it does have to kick in. And Eamon, new viewer, welcome. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for saying good morning. Good group of people here. We talk about our TFSAs, mostly Canadians. So I'm not sure where you're from. Let us know if you want in the comments. You can let us know where we're from. We're kind of everybody here. Majority is across Canada. We do get a few Americans in though. So no matter where you are, you're welcome. Although sometimes some of the investment topics might not be applicable if you're not in Canada, but nevertheless. Good to have you. Stan's always here. Good morning. Good morning. Hopefully your day is going well. Hopefully everybody's day is going well. No coffee. No coffee for Chad. We'll make a coffee. That's how my morning starts out. That's probably the first thing I do. I put on coffee, have coffee, and just kind of wake up a little bit. And then my breakfast. Breakfast is, I don't know if you were on the stream, we were talking about breakfast, but my breakfast is really boring. Every day is oatmeal. I just make oatmeal in an Instant Pot, put it on. I don't enjoy it, but it fills you up, and it's easy, and I don't have to think about it in the morning. I can just put it in and turn it on, and then I have breakfast. So that's usually what I have. And Josh, good morning. Welcome. Good to have you here. I think we've got a few new people. I don't know if Josh, you've been on before. I admit I'm terrible always with names. If you tune in every day though, we start to get the crew, and we remember the crew. So there we go. And Jill is a tea lover. Okay. Yeah, I have tea. And Jill, welcome. Thanks for joining. I have tea. Usually I have my coffee just in the morning, then kind of in the afternoon to warm up and stuff, I'll make tea. Fun, stupid fact about coffee and tea. I like my coffee as strong as possible. But when I make tea, I make Earl Grey tea. I literally dip the tea bag in the cup for a second and let it, and that's it. I like really weak tea, which is kind of weird, but that's what it is. And MC is here. Always good to have you, MC. Thanks for tuning in. Always appreciate it. Love your comments as well. Anybody that's on, if you have some comments, throw them up. If you have questions, if I can't answer it or point you in the right direction, there's a good chance that someone that is watching on the stream can help you out as well. Got a really good crew that joins in. Montreal. Oh, welcome, Montreal. Oh, there we go. I think the first person that I know of anyways from Montreal. That's awesome. All across Canada here. We've got people from BC. We've got people that tune in from Alberta. We've got people that turn in from Ontario. I don't think we've had the far east coast yet, but could be wrong. And MC, first Fed meeting of the year. It's a big one. Everybody's kind of waiting to see what happens. Everybody's waiting. We'll talk about this as we go. Everybody's waiting to see. I mean, predictions. Let us know your predictions. We'll jump ahead a little bit. Let us know your predictions in the comments. I'm thinking 25 basis points. The wording is going to be the interesting part that we're waiting for. It's coming at, I believe, 2 o'clock Eastern time. So that would be 11 o'clock my time. So the stream will be over before we kind of see the information and everything else. What's going to be interesting is obviously the commentary that follows that. That's always the main thing. And I kind of think, we'll get into the news as well, but I think the Fed is going to be a bit more firm in their stance as opposed to what Canada kind of talked about. And that's my kind of feeling. But as always, fire in the comments. Yeah, good, Joel. Always good to have you here. I know you're part with Candace's channel, so it's good to have you tune in. You've tuned in before, I'm pretty sure, but it's great to have you take some time out of the morning to do that. And looking forward to your next video, Joel. Always good to have you. And Chad doesn't. Oh, don't eat. I do eat, but no, I don't eat breakfast. You should eat breakfast. I find it fills me up and gets me going for the day. So it's I don't enjoy oatmeal though. I eat it because it fills me up and it's simple. You can just put oatmeal, water, have it with some honey, maybe maple syrup, that kind of stuff. But pretty boring breakfast. It's not like I'm making eggs Benedict and hash browns and all that kind of good stuff. But there we go. Oh, T.TO Master. So we do have the West Coast. Well, let us know, everybody, in the comments if you want. Let us know where you're from. I know where a few people are from, but if you want to fire that in, by all means, go ahead. And it's 12 o'clock. 12 o'clock on the East Coast, so lunchtime tuning in, and 3.5 cups deep. Yeah, I'm almost kind of the same. I make a good pot of, couple good cups of coffee, and I have one and a bit before I kind of jump on the live stream, and then I top it up when I start the stream, and then when the coffee's done, that's how a T.TO Master, that's how I know the stream is over, when my coffee's empty. Okay. There we go. Good question. Chad, if anybody has some answers to that one. I haven't looked at VMAX. I own VDY in my portfolio. I've just that's the one I'm buying every week, actually. VDY, Canadian High Dividend Yield Vanguard ETF. I haven't looked at VMAX. Chad, while we're here, let me pull up, and if it's not on that list, I will add it. I think we might have put it on the RSP one. Did we? VMAX? No, we didn't, but we'll put it on our other one. VMAX. It's not on there. I'm just going to add that to the list if I can. It doesn't let me. No, I'll have to search out the. I'll have to search it out. Sometimes the Google Finance things don't always show up on the in the searches properly. So I'll dig that one up and add it. And Candace. I think we're going to be very careful. Yeah, they will be. I think he doesn't want to come off. It's kind of the thing. We'll have to, I think he's going to be leaning more on the hawkish side. I think as well. It's always interesting. So we'll know, right? That's the thing. We'll have to wait and see. It's always interesting. So I'll be watching that and following the news. Probably just jump onto Twitter when it's time to come, because usually the news kind of comes fastest on Twitter, I find. So, but MC thinks 25 basis points now and 25 in March and then done. Okay, interesting. Or half and now. I think MC, if it was 5 now, the market's not going to react nicely. But maybe I think it's the consensus. And I can, let's pull up the news, because I did have kind of, I think most people on here have probably read it already this morning, kind of know what's going on, but might as well screen share it. Obviously expected to deliver a small rate hike, but keep the anti-inflation, wording tilt, keep that in there. What does mention, I'm just going to scroll to the end. They're going to keep, what they're kind of saying here is expected to move 25 basis points with a hawkish downshift. So whatever that's kind of, still going to be on there. I think he's going to stand pat and saying we still want to really tromp down inflation. That's, I think that's their resolve. They've been pretty clear. They've been pretty clear about that up until now. I don't see that changing all of a sudden. So, there we go. I think that's I think that's where we're headed. But time will tell. It'll be we'll have to kind of look once the time comes on that one. And Chad is kind of agreeing with MC there. Awesome. So we're kind of on the same page. So HMAX is a new one, Chad. Okay, I don't know. I don't know. I'll have to kind of look into it if I can add it to. Let me just do a search for it here if I can actually find it. That's the problem. There's a lot of it's all the Hamilton Financial. Let's see here. It's on Yahoo Finance. It's the Hamilton Financial Yield Maximizer ETF, Canadian Financials ETF. I have to look. When did it? I'm not sure when it launched. I don't know when it launched. It literally January 20th. So brand new. I'll have to keep an eye on that one, Chad. I'm gonna add it to my watch list on Yahoo Finance because it is showing up there. And then once it shows up in Google Finance, I'll add it to that. So, are they paying a 13% yield? There's a couple of Hamilton ones that have popped up, I think, recently, kind of on my radar as well, Chad. So, brand new ETF. It's a good question. I own both as well. Obviously, there's a few people, Eamon, on the channel that own both. I remember Candace was mentioning she did. I think Vic, who's not on the live stream but follows the channel. He I believe owns both. I know he mentioned buying Tesla Yield. I own both. I haven't. So good question. I mean, obviously the Tesla, the CDR, you're not gonna make a. I mean, obviously unless Tesla pays a dividend or something like that, you're not gonna make a monthly kind of yield on that. Other than right now, any kind of possible gains. But yeah, I don't know. I think it can go both ways. I own both. The reason I haven't sold my Tesla CDR is obviously my average cost is under, so there's no point. I want to hold it long term anyways. So I figured for me, I can only kind of talk about what I did is I sold off some RioCan, which was doing quite well, and put it into Yield Tesla, and did pretty good actually. It's up I think about 25 or 30% now, but obviously not selling. I'll keep seeing how, as long as the dividends keep going. That's the thing with these new ones. The dividends might not continue. We'll have to see, but I'll just hold on to both, and if ideally probably will be adding some more Yield Tesla if I'm able to. My focus, Eamon, though, really this year is to build up my cash, like my high interest. I'm trying to build up a little bit of cash position in my TFSA, just because the interest rates are for secure, are pretty decent on PSA. So I can put a little bit of cash in there just to kind of keep it in some cash and decide what I want to do with it down the road. But also I'm adding to, each week I'm adding a VDY, and then the remainder of the deposit goes towards the VFV, the S&P. So that's kind of my focus, and that's my budget right now. So there's not really any plans to really add any new kind of extra into the positions, other than if I get some dividends, what I'll try and do is roll them in to buy another share. That's kind of how I run it. But there we go. Yeah, crypto's being crypto. I haven't looked too much this morning, Chad, into it. A lot of times it's not a good day. These days I find are just kind of not, I'm not buying anything or wanting to buy anything right now. So I just kind of, I don't want to say ignore it, but you just have to kind of roll with it. Let the news shake through, and what will happen will happen. Anything, as we can see from the past, it's volatile out there, right? It's going to be, we're by no means, I don't think, out of the woods yet. So we'll have to see with crypto. In terms of that, I mean, Bitcoin it's down. I don't know what you own in crypto. We don't talk about crypto a ton on the channel, other than really maybe Bitcoin, some of the ETFs on Bitcoin. It is down a little bit today. The thing with Bitcoin, it is so volatile that it's I don't know. I don't trade it. So I mean, I buy it. I don't trade it. I have a small daily purchase that I do of Bitcoin, and I buy it on Shakepay. I think people know that on the channel, but maybe Chad, if you might have missed that missed that when we were talking about it. I just do on Shakepay, I do the $5 purchase every morning in Bitcoin, and then at the end of the week I transfer it over to my ledger and just take it off of the exchange there. Yeah. MC, okay. If you recall the last rally, J-Paul spoke at Jackson Hole and the rally sold off. That's kind of what happened, right? There was a good run up after, and then it kind of, whatever spooked the market. But again, I mean, as we kind of talk about a lot, I can only speak for myself, but I'm not a trader, so I'm not here to try and time these or anything like that. I'm not smart enough to do that by any means, but it's always interesting to kind of keep an eye on what's happening with the market, because it does affect us, right? It even if we're long-term investors, we still want to kind of keep on top of what's happening in the world, and that's kind of the idea with the channel. And Nadia's here. Better late than never. It's all good. It's okay to be late. Thanks for tuning in. It's always appreciated, and love you joining in. Good morning. Hopefully your coffee's hot. Chad, MC by the dip. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, everybody has their own trading kind of how they do it here, but it's hard to know. I think for the most part, a lot of the people that are on that follow the channel, watch the channel, are more long-term investors. So, but maybe there's some opportunity in picking up some stuff that you are able to average down in cost. I mean, I guess the hardest part is sometimes having the money to do it, right, Chad? It's if we had unlimited funds sitting there on the sidelines, in the perfect world, that would be great. But it's just not always. It's unfortunately not always the case, because we still have to spend money on rent and mortgages and car payments and cell phone bills and streaming bills and all that kind of stuff. So it's sometimes it's hard. You don't have enough. You never have enough. There's never enough money. There is never enough, no matter what. But if there's some opportunity for people, maybe today for some things, that's awesome. If you can do it, it's always good to hear if people can make a little bit extra money. It's always good. On that, we'll bring up. Obviously, as I talk about groceries and streaming services, this popped up on my news this morning for Netflix, and we talked about it a little bit on Netflix before because they had that new plan that's come out that is like ad supported. I don't know if anybody's signed up. Obviously, I know there's people that are signed up for Netflix, but has anybody signed up and changed their subscription to the ad version? Let me know. It didn't really work for me because it just limits how many people can watch, that kind of stuff. But they are cracking down. This is interesting as we share this. Netflix is going to start to crack down on password sharing. So if you're sharing your password with another household, this has started so far. They are cracking down right now in Chile, Costa Rica, and Peru for whatever reason. Maybe there's a lot of people there that are sharing passwords, I guess. They're making it now so your Netflix account is only shareable within one household. So obviously it uses tracking with your IP address, and you're obviously knowing your location on where you're located. And they'll make it now so you have to re-sign in to your home Wi-Fi that's registered every 31 days to ensure you're not blocked from Netflix. So interesting on that one. They are also making it though too, that is and I've done this when I've traveled before, is Netflix will work in different countries. A lot of times you have to log back in, but it will still work. I've watched it in the States and Mexico. I've even watched it in overseas when I was there. But some of the shows are different just due to licensing, but they'll make it now. So if you are going somewhere else outside of your home network area, it will ask you to get an authorization code through your phone, through the app, so you can actually use it and then use it for 7 days. It doesn't mention here really yet how they're gonna, if you can keep getting 7-day periods if you're away, that kind of stuff. I'm gonna assume yes. This is probably more to thwart people that are actually sharing their passwords, as opposed to people that are legitimately traveling and using Netflix when they're on vacation. But interesting nonetheless. Hopefully will help Netflix. If you own Netflix shares, might help the share price, help their profits coming in. So there we go. And they're MC for Chad. So 40% in cash, waiting for the dip. Yeah. So still waiting. A lot of people I think are on the sidelines because it's been ugly, right? It's been an ugly. I mean, it was a good January, but going back a year from that, it was ugly. So nothing wrong with putting some cash in, having some cash on the side, especially because you can have cash sitting on the side and make almost 5%. And talking about GICs is, we've talked about it before. Like if you have sitting in cash, look at GICs, high interest savings accounts, paying. I mean, the Wealthsimple one pays 1.5%, which is not that great, but you can get into a high interest, ETF, like PSA is one of them. There's a number of them, and they're paying 4.69%, 4.6% ish around there. So some good returns. I mean, we mentioned it before. The interest rates are higher on savings accounts like this than they were when TFSAs first launched. So some good money to be, sitting in cash, making consistent and not having to worry about any type of volatility at all, which is great. MC, your name is still not showing up, but you're special. I noticed that as well as EQ. So this MC's mentioning the following: GIC's EQ Bank have lowered their 1-year rates to 4.85, and it would appear that financial institutions are in the camp that the short-term rates have paused. So interesting how that will kind of. That's how I guess the market is pricing it, right? I did notice that as well. I for some reason get ads for EQ Bank on my phone all the time. So if I'm browsing on it's big on on Instagram or even online, I will get these ads for EQ Bank quite often, and I did notice that they were paying less. It's kind of dropped, but I don't know what they are now. I can always let's pull it up. And see, you can always kind of search around and see some of the best ones. Let's see. You know what? I'm gonna pull up instead, is because I find it easy to see without and they're pretty much the same rates. I find this is Tangerine or ING, the old ING Direct, or the new ING Direct. We still call it ING Direct, but so the 1 year is 4.85 on there as well. The 5 years have also dropped too. I think the EQ Bank one has dropped. Let's just go to EQ Bank. Probably much the same. This is the hard part. It's sometimes hard to. Sometimes the search isn't the best. GICs, there we go. Let's pull this up. Try and find it. See, it's hard to find. Sometimes they don't tell you they tell you the 1 year, and here we go. See, it's all in the bottom. 1 year 4.85. So same as that. 5 year 4.2. I don't know necessarily you'd want to lock it in for the longer term like that, but that's everybody's own decision. But 1 year, I mean, 4.485 is I guess okay. It'll be see what we'll have to see with rates, right? This is when all the predictions start to come out when rates are going to start dropping, right? Like, is it going to be, how long are they going to pause for? So that's the hard part. Probably nothing wrong with locking in for 1 year though, for 4.85%. If it was me, I'd probably, I have it's not a fear of GICs, but I always feel if I can get a similar rate of return on something like a high interest savings ETF, I would probably just put it into that instead, because at least it's a bit more liquid than a GIC having to break. Especially if you're waiting, for to deploy it, right? Because it's as we know, it's hard to time anything, and if you're locked into a GIC and you possibly can't break it, right? So. And there we go. Oh, there you go. Tomorrow is a deep dive 2-for-1 on Tesla and EQ Bank. Okay, yeah, it's interesting. I know EQ Bank just through work, Candace, but I don't deal with them that often. I obviously don't own them. So I'm interested. Are you doing now, Candace? Are you doing the deep dive? It's a Tesla. Is it Tesla the stock, or is it Tesla the yield, or both? Because I think that's probably, obviously we had the comment earlier about the Tesla. Well, should I buy Tesla? That might be a good one. I mean, Tesla yield or Tesla, the CDR if you're in Canada. I think there's maybe some confusion what people should maybe buy. That might be an idea. Or if you haven't filmed it, put that in there maybe a little bit on that one. Yeah, and I think that's the thing. I mean, the Bank of Canada has pretty much said we're going to pause with conditions. I think as they kind of worded it, but I think we're in for a bit of a pause as we go. So Tesla, the company. Okay, there you go. Perfect. That would still be appreciated. I'll watch that one for sure. I still remember that commercial as well. ING, save your money. The guy. It's funny. I went to MC when ING got bought out by Scotiabank, and this is years ago. I can't even remember how many years ago it was. Probably close to 10 years, if not more. I got flown out to Ontario by ING Direct, and it was for a like the launch of they didn't tell us what it was, but they brought us out got to see the headquarters, got to meet the CEO at the time. It was Peter Aceto, I think it was at the time. I don't think he's with them anymore. Meet that, and got a tour of the main headquarters all throughout that. Got to see how they kind of operated a little bit, and it was interesting. It was the time when they had just they hadn't launched. No, they might have just launched check-in, or they hadn't launched check-in, because they were one of the first ones you could deposit checks on your phone, like through taking a picture. And I think they were one of the first. But there was a room. It was in a giant glass room in Tangerine where people worked, because you used to have to, with ING Direct, you used to have to send in, if you wanted to deposit you could go online and transfer, but at the time you could also, before they even really had it online, you could go in and you could like literally write a check to yourself. So you would write a check from your regular checking account, you would send it to ING Direct, and then they would deposit it to your account. Or you could send in other checks that you wanted to deposit, right? And there was a whole room covered in like glass, and in there, and they had people literally opening envelopes, scanning checks. And I think that, it's just like, oh, all of a sudden, like, hey, why don't we just get the clients to do this? Because we're scanning it into the same systems for security and everything else. We're just taking pictures of it anyways. And that's how it launched. It was interesting. And then the next day they did the launch of Tangerine. So we went into this big presentation, and they had this in the roundabout deal with this save your money. They flew in the person that did that thing for the commercial, and he was a part of the presentation to do save your money. So long story about ING, but it was good. It was a good little good trip actually. Kind of see it. Yeah, I read kind of that too, and I saw your poll, Candace, over on the thing. It's kind of it's kind of pointing to not. I mean, China opening up, just the way it's hard, but it's really hard to know. Everything's kind of lagging. We haven't seen. I think the last thing to always break is the jobs, right? And we haven't seen any kind of widespread. There's still lots of jobs out there. It's only really been tech for the most part that has been impacted by job layoffs so far. So maybe we're I don't say we're out of the I don't think the coast is necessarily clear yet, but maybe we're leaning in that directions. So GIC laddering, yeah. The thing with, GICs for so long, MC they not forgotten, but because they were just paying such dismal amounts of interest, I think they went out of favor. So now it's obviously coming back in favor. So more people are talking about them, and maybe that's why I haven't really paid too much attention, because there's so many things, but obviously MC talking about, for those that don't know, like GIC laddering is basically buying buying different maturities on GIC. So say you have $5,000 to invest, for example, you would put $1,000 in each of like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 years. And as the shorter ones mature, you roll them into a longer term, and you just kind of keep laddering them in. So you always have kind of something maturing in the shorter term. So everything's not locked in as a longer term, and it usually gets you, I mean, just depending on how interest rates goes, but that's one way to do it. And Ketty, welcome. Oh, internationally, Indonesia, welcome. We're mostly Canadians here, so always good to have you here. Yes, it was Markham, I think it was. I don't know the areas in Toronto that well, but I think so. It's where a lot of the bank kind of had headquarters and stuff in that area, and it was a big building out there. They flew us into Toronto. Pearson obviously literally picked us up at the airport, and we drove out there, and there was like a dinner out there, and it was good. It was a really good, a good thing. I used to do more work with ING Direct, indirectly in the mortgage space, MC, and that's kind of how I got invited to go out there as a bit of I wouldn't say an ambassador or something like that, but it was kind of like that. There was other. There was some financial people, financial blogger at the time, bloggers. This was even before, like, I mean, Twitter was out for sure, but this was before like Instagram and stuff like that with social media. But there was like some financial bloggers that were there. I was more involved I kind of got invited, I think, because I was not friends with, but I knew, like, through the Vancouver, ING Direct had a branch where they, their cafe kind of thing. So I knew people there kind of thing, and knew people through that space a little bit. And that's how I got invited. Yeah, so it was good. It was my first time going to Ontario, but it was kind of a whirlwind. I didn't even get downtown. Didn't get a chance to do any of the touristy stuff. It was literally like a 2-day thing. You drove in, went to the headquarters, got the tour of the headquarters, back to the hotel, stayed at the hotel. Next day was the rebranding, and then literally the next day was heading back home. So it was kind of a whirlwind. Didn't get a chance to do any of the touristy stuff that time. So, and there we go. Yeah, international people watching. Good to have you. Indonesia. That's awesome. It's too bad there's no way to pull up a little map with little dots to figure out where people watch. The majority, though, Candace, I know from my channel analytics, obviously the majority is Canadian, which is understandable because we talk about TFSAs and Canadian investing. So we don't get a ton of international people, but everybody's welcome. I think any U.S. visitors probably are coming and finding me through shorts or something like that. I don't know, or maybe the odd Bitcoin post or something like that. But yeah, mostly Canadian, overwhelmingly Canadian, which is a good thing. So GICs, not using for accumulating wealth, but become much more useful for retirement planning. It makes sense because you can get those guaranteed, that's what they're called, right? Guaranteed investment certificates, and get you like guaranteed returns, which when you are retired can be definitely very important for sure. Or if you're risk adverse, right? There's a lot of people that are risk averse. So if that's your first, maybe a GIC is your first step into investing. I mean, that's, invest or saving, as we say, that's not necessarily a bad thing. Anything you can save, and if that's how you start to learn, I think that's a good thing. I mean, I've owned GICs in the past. I mean, because you have, for whatever reason, extra money you want to lock away, and not, some people I know, don't want to be tempted to, or if they put money into a regular savings account, they know themselves, and maybe they'll dip into it, right? Whereas if they lock it into a GIC for a year or 5 years or whatever, they know they can't touch it, right? So they're not necessarily all a bad thing. So I could do that. Yeah, have a map. I would need to get a map. That's actually a good idea, having behind. On my old channel, Candace, when I did a lot more traveling, I actually there was like a map of it was a world map, though. It wasn't it didn't break down the countries and stuff. And it was in the background. So I need something like that, and I can just put little stickers on, because I don't own here, and I don't necessarily want to put a bunch of holes in the wall with pins. But good idea. That's pretty good. Keep an eye out. I'll have to figure out maybe a poll, some kind, Candace, and put on the poll, figure out where everybody lives if they go. And Danks in Calgary. Okay, so Calgary, we've got most provinces. Yeah, we've got most provinces covered. I don't know if we've had anybody from. I'm just trying to think here. Dank Magic, I like that. It's been BC, Alberta. We've had Ontario. We've had Quebec. We've had back east now. I don't think we've had any territories yet, and I don't know if we've had any Saskatchewan or Manitoba. Hard to know. I'll have to track it down. And looking in the backwoods of Calgary, yeah. And Red Taco, Mr. Red Taco, good to have you here. Welcome back. I'm not sure where you're from, Red Taco. There's a good question. To anybody from PEI? All across Canada. I should just have a map in the background of Canada. I'm still getting something for the back. They're going to be. I've been looking on Amazon and stuff for like some type of neon light. I'm trying to decide whether I should be because you can get a lightning bolt, which is a Bitcoin light, like Bitcoin lightning, or some type of coffee sign, like coffee shop or something like that, or coffee's on, or a steaming mug of coffee probably. So we'll see. I'm not sure where you're from, so it depends what province you're from. It's always hard, but we start at 8 o'clock Pacific. But good to have you here, checking in late. That's okay, as long as you tune in, or you can watch the replay as well. Let's just pull up some more news here as we go. What did we talk about? We talked about Netflix already. Let's pull on this one. We had this groceries, inflation, prices. High prices. Groceries, I think, have just from being out. I haven't noticed a huge increase in groceries. They're still expensive, but what I have noticed is some of the vegetables and stuff have actually been more decently priced, or be able to find a bit more stuff on sale for whatever reason. Probably just due to wherever they're growing, which is nice. The big thing over the last while before the new year was like romaine lettuce, because I like making Caesar salad, and sometimes romaine would be like so expensive I just wouldn't buy it, but that's come down in price, and the quality is a little bit better. So we're starting to see maybe a bit of reprise, and that's the thing. This was brought up exactly, Candace. So every year they actually freeze, because a lot of these products and stuff, they've ordered them and they've paid for them prior, right? So it's normal for them to freeze these no-name products going into just before the new year, obviously for Christmas and that kind of stuff. Because I think people are out shopping for Christmas dinner and all that, all that kind of stuff. So they're probably looking at flyers and everything else. So they would freeze these prices, and they do. It's a yearly freeze, and now basically they're saying it's no longer. It ended at the end of January, and I think they're going to try and spin it as a positive, because they're saying here, like, the 3-month price freeze ended January 31st, but we're not done. So it's kind of like, how are they going to kind of push this as a positive, where it's things they obviously kind of are priced in already. But I did find that interesting in food and groceries. And Red Taco's Alberta. Okay, Alberta. So we're getting there. Across Canada, almost. That'll be the goal of the channel, is to have one in every province on every live stream. You have to watch them like a hawk for groceries. They do. I've noticed some things come down, but I've also noticed like it really pays to look at different stores to find stuff for different things, and because it pays off, because you can sometimes find, if you buy certain staples that you buy all the time, because if you're like me, I typically buy very similar groceries each time I go get groceries, and sometimes you find the same product at another store that might be on sale, and there's nothing wrong with saving a buck to go somewhere else to get it. But then what you find is you learn on your staples, that you buy, you know the different places to get them because they're cheaper at certain places for whatever reason that I have found. For the groceries, grow your yeah, you could grow your own food. I'm going to be starting a garden. I have a plot, a family member that lives not super far away, that has a backyard, that we're going to end up turning into a garden together next spring, for vegetables and stuff like that. And you can that's exactly it. Use the price match. Stores will price match if you ask them, as far as I understand. But also to use the grocery. It's handy to use the grocery app. I use Superstore and shop and use their curbside still, but it's handy because you find stuff on sale. But also check out Amazon for certain certain food products, and also like household products. I usually buy my coffee on sale there. I've mentioned that before. Red Taco is the coffee I can buy. Sometimes I can buy it on Amazon for $9.99 or $10.99 a pound. $9.99 if it's really on sale. $10.99. Sometimes it goes up. Sometimes in the stores it's up to like close to $17 or $18. It's been a pound. But a lot of times you can go back and check on Amazon, and it's like really on sale. Last time I bought some, I saw if I see it for $10, I'll buy like 5 or 6 pounds and just put it aside. So that's kind of what I do. So it pays to shop around, and it pays to look at some different places you might not think. Because if you can save a few bucks on groceries, you can put more into your TFSA. That's kind of the thing. And there you go. Yeah, I don't eat to buy more Bitcoin. Yeah, that's one. I mean, I guess that's one way to look at it. If you look at certain things, I mean, obviously you want to eat. Don't not eat, but look at different things that you're buying, that you can cut back on certain things to be able to put money somewhere else. Yeah, nothing wrong with that. So the stat that kind of makes sense. If 1 in 5 people own chicken, they would put the egg farmers out of business. Yeah, I do eat a fair number of eggs. Usually, I mean, I don't think I quite eat a dozen a week, but I have eggs, and a lot of times I'll make hard-boiled eggs for lunch, with some toast. So I'll go through eggs, and they're not cheap either. They've gotten more expensive. I don't think they're as bad as prices you read kind of in the States for stuff, but there you go. But yeah, you can't. Yeah, you need to eat, so you can't eat. You can't eat Bitcoin. Well, you can spend it. I guess you can spend it to buy food. What app is that? I'd be interested to know that. That has all the flyers of the week. That's how I price match, and I've never heard a store say no. I wonder what app is that? Red Toggle. It'd be interesting. I'm gonna bookmark it and check it out. Yeah, you just have to kind of go to customer service and say, hey, I want to shop here, but this product over here is, $1.50, whatever. Everything adds up. I don't have any shame in being as we call it, frugal. It's not. Some would say cheap, but if you can save a quarter, why wouldn't you, right? And that's just on one product. Because if you go to the grocery store, you're buying you buy a bunch of stuff, and all of a sudden, you're spending $200, and your cart's not even near full. So. You can eat Bitcoin if you're on a fast, and it will not break the fast. Yeah, there you go. Red Taco Flip. Okay, Flip app. I'm gonna search. I'm gonna bookmark that. Interesting. Flip app. I'm gonna mark that. Cool. Thanks. You always learn something on these. I'm gonna check that out. Yeah, that's just right. They have canned goods and stuff like that too at dollar stores. I haven't thought I know they do that. I don't think I really have one nearby me here. I'd have to see. But see the thing, yeah, you have to kind of see, because a lot of times what they go for canned stuff. I don't really. When I cook at home, I cook like literally from scratch, because I have background in cooking, so I don't buy any kind of pre-made stuff, canned, sauces and that kind of stuff. I make them all. So canned goods, you can usually get a decent deal some places, that's for sure. So I'm definitely gonna check out that Flip app. That's interesting. I never heard of it. Makes sense though. I do browse like I'll look through the flyer deals on at Superstore when I'm on the app, but if they're on sale. So I'm gonna check that app out after we get off the stream. Very cool. I could maybe do a video on that Flip app on the channel. Might not be a bad idea. Share with people so they know, so they can get it. I'll check it out. There we go. This one's gone. This one's gone fast. Lots of new people. Went international today, which is awesome. It's coming up to 8:45. So if anybody's got any kind of last minute questions, comments, now's the time to fire them in. If you haven't liked the stream, now's the time to hit that like button as well. MC, yeah, we just you must have missed it. You tuned out, but it's called Flip. Yeah, it's I've got it on the page here. It's here I can bring up the web page. It's called Flip. So that's it's putting my post. That's not my postal code, but I guess it's picking up some postal code from on the island. But it's got all your stores. So I guess you can add stores, and you can also add like loyalty cards. This one looks like it's American, but I'm going to assume there's some Canadian stores on there as well for coupons and stuff like that. So there we go. That's always good. So I'm going to check that one out. Thanks for that. Yeah, dollar stores, like, yeah, they don't have the fresh stuff. They'll have like pasta or canned goods, that kind of stuff. Maybe pet food and stuff like that. So yeah, I saw the link. So Android, I'll download it for the Android and check it out. Yeah, and then I can just have it on my phone. Make it handy when you're out shopping. The apps are definitely handy. There's another grocery store, like a local grocery store on the island here. They have an app as well with it is a points card, but it takes forever to get points. That's the problem. I find the Superstore points card, the Superstore points add up quite quickly, or Loblaws, or however you can pronounce it if you're back east. I think that one is, I shop most of the time at Superstore. The points really add up. I pay, but I get free curbside pickup, so it kind of pays for itself. But it also, if you join their, I'm not shilling them at all, but if you pay, I think it's $30 a year, and you get free grocery pickups. And I usually go for groceries, not every week, but almost every week. So that kind of pays for itself throughout the year, because normally I think it's $4 or $5 for a grocery pickup, unless they have a deal on it. But it also sends you points. It also sends you a lot of times it'll send you point codes, that kind of stuff. And you can also, if you sign up for their, as a member, whatever, it gives you bonus points on their PC, if you buy certain PC, like their PC brand products or no-name products, you get bonus points. And those points add up pretty quick, I find. You can usually get, you usually end up with a couple $100 in your points thing, pretty quickly. Then you can put it towards it makes it easy just to put it towards groceries. Or someone actually mentioned is what they do is they save it for the year or 2 years, and then they use it to buy a new cell phone at the kiosk with their cell phone. So yeah. Those are three. You've got it. I'm kind of in, let's just see, Victoria. Yeah, Vancouver Island is Victoria, Nanaimo, Campbell River. That's kind of the three. I'm north of Nanaimo, but south of Campbell River. Campbell River is way, way up. I had a family member that lived in Campbell River, but she's now moved back to the mainland. So, MC, yeah, I thought about that. I don't know. I'd have to look. I thought of that and pulling that up. I don't. But the problem is a lot of times with the meetings and the coverage. I can maybe try and jump on if I do have kind of a busy day today though. Unfortunately. I know the meetings will get published streaming online, but a lot of times it would be nice to share it and have it on, and we could just watch it together. But sometimes you have to be careful with any kind of licensing that is in there. So if they play music and that kind of stuff, and it might not be licensed to share, that's what I have to be careful on. But if keep an eye out, obviously subscribe, get notified, you'll see. But probably not. I do have kind of a busy day today. So on that note, it is, yeah, it's. Once you're here, it's good. It's getting back and forth. The ferry is always, it takes a couple hours and waiting and everything else. It's never the greatest. But once you're here, it's nice. There's no traffic. I'm north of Nanaimo and Victoria, so there's no traffic. It's like relaxing. I'm 5 minutes from the beach, and it's great. It's great in the summer. So switch to scene card. Okay, yeah. There's also the different points card. If you can just use one that works for you, right? That's the big thing. PC Mastercard Worley. Okay, yeah, they do because you get like I think you get like double points, right? If you're using the points for buying it at Superstore or PC products, you get the points for that. You get the double points, and it's like compounds. It's like compound interest. I have a MC. I think I mentioned it before though, but I have a Tangerine Mastercard, but you can select different categories for it to get cash back, and it's 2%. I get 2% back on groceries because I mostly use it for groceries because I buy online and then I go pick it up, and it seems to it shoots the money into my Tangerine savings account each month, and then I just transfer it back to put it towards paying off the balance. But it adds up. 2% adds up at groceries. That's for sure. Especially with the price of groceries right now. I heard Zellers is coming back though. I don't know about Club Z, but that's too funny. I read somewhere, I read talk about that the Zellers is their cafe or are coming back as like a food truck apparently. Yeah, ferry's not fun. It's expensive, but I mean, there's the only way to really get across if you need a car, obviously. Flying is, I've flown across a couple of times. More of like for holidays when I lived on the mainland. That's very nice because it's like you land in Victoria in 20 minutes and it's not waiting for the ferry, but the ferry is a process. Yeah, you basically just get used to going there, driving. You bring a pillow in the car and put your seat back when the ferry's there, and you just try and fall asleep up, in the car is basically what it is. See, you shouldn't have thrown away your Z card because Zellers is coming back. A food truck, anyways. And I think they're doing pop-up Zellers, I guess. Good for them. Somebody try. Anyways, there we go. Well, we're coming up on 9. I do appreciate everybody that's tuned in again. As we say, we've always got a good group of people here. I do appreciate it. And Zeddy, yeah, I remember Zeddy. It was a bear. I appreciate it though. Have to jump into work now. I'll see what happens with the meeting time if I get caught up, but no promises on that one. It would be good as we go. And I know there's tons of comments coming in here. I won't unfortunately have a chance to get to them, but I do thank everybody for joining. We'll catch you again tomorrow. Hopefully, come back. We can carry on the conversation. We'll have some obviously more news to talk about after having the meeting taken care of. We can dive into what the Fed talked about, and there we go. So we'll have a happy Fed hike rate day, if we call it that. Let's be positive. We think we'll leave it on a positive note. Thanks everybody for watching. We'll catch you all in the next one.